Hello, and welcome to the Megan Millen podcast. I think I finally have a podcast name. How exciting is that? If you listen to this podcast from the start, I was talking about how I knew the Megan Millen podcast wasn't the official name, but I didn't want to, I guess in my mind, I didn't want to put something out there that wasn't my name if I didn't really resonate or root with it. I pay close attention to podcast names now as I am embarking on this journey of figuring out my own. And you can just tell when people, it's like, this doesn't even make sense with you. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure I'm rooted to it. Not saying things need to be perfect before you do anything. If anything, it's the opposite. Do things when they're not perfect because you will learn super quickly how to make it perfect. With that being said, I just want to be rooted to it. So stay tuned. I'm hearing next week, maybe even the next 2 weeks, I make an announcement about it, but I'm very excited. I just want to make sure, I don't want to go about changing my podcast name 100 times either. You know what I mean? Yes, take that first step, even if it's not perfect, but also I'm not trying to freaking do this 5 different times. So for now, it's the Megan Millen podcast still. And guys, you would die. I was doing this crazy. It's been an intuitive pull of mine to do this. You know what? When I first pulled this for myself, it was to do these weird noises, which sounds bizarre. I know that. But the more I am doing it, these quote unquote weird noises, it's more like a vocal warm up. Isn't that crazy? Which makes sense when you're about to talk on a podcast for XYZ minutes, hours, however long you're doing it out there. Why would you not warm up your voice a little bit? You know what I mean? So I did that before. Actually, it's a lot of fun too. It's a huge component of me doing these quote unquote weird noises, but what I'm now calling this vocal warm-up. It's a big pull for me to do that because it's a part of play. It takes the pressure off everything and anything. It just returns anything I'm doing to being fun, playful, not so serious. Because in life, we tend to take things super seriously. Am I wrong? So we did a little vocal warm-up. Also, as I'm recording this, I am drinking this new protein powder. I'm not really a big protein powder person. My sister and her friends came to visit 2 weekends ago now, and one of her friends gave me this protein packet called Dailies, and she's like, it's really good, try it. I'm trying it now, it is really good. I'm trying the fruit punch flavor. Again, not a big protein powder or protein supplement unless it's food or Chomps, you know what I mean? Or what's the other one I like? It's not just Chomps, it comes in a blue bag, Archer maybe, but unless it's food, I don't really intake it. Not because I have any ish against it, but more or less because I don't think it keeps me full. I don't think the protein bars and powders keep me full, so stay tuned if this actually keeps me full or not. But yeah, it's pretty good. I have it. I didn't get to shake it, so I would show it to you, but it looks kind of weird in my wine glass. Of course it's in a wine glass because every fun drink needs to be in a wine glass. And of course, as I'm recording, I need multiple drinks in front of me. So here we are. I have my waters, I have my protein drink, and let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic is self-image. What is self-image? First of all, super, super crucial to have a high self-image, to align the most with your higher self path, and to begin attracting the things you desire the most. What is the higher self path? The higher self path is, well, let me start with who your higher self is. Your higher self is the version of you that has no limiting beliefs about yourself in this lifetime. How fucking cool, right? Imagine if you walked around life never doubting yourself, trusting everything you're doing, trusting everything you're saying, knowing you're the shit inherently without needing that external validation. That is you. That's your higher self. Just throughout life, we take on external beliefs, external contagions, and they get deeper and deeper and deeper year after year, decade after decade. And we don't even really realize it because they're being stored in our subconscious. Guys, 95% of your thoughts, actions, beliefs, habits, patterns, repetitions live in your subconscious. If you think your subconscious isn't dictating your reality, think again. This is something you could Google. How much of our daily lives are affected by our subconscious or are influenced by our subconscious? So guys, that true nature you, that true essence is your higher self, is you, is within you already, is you already. But again, just throughout life, we don't know this works. We tend to stray from it and take on all this shit that isn't even our own. And if you don't believe me, we are very, very influential people. 98% of our thoughts, actions, and beliefs are not even our own. It is crazy. That's why with intuition, you could suss out, is this something I would actually want to do? Or is it something I've taken on from someone or something else? It's why with intuition, you could see, hey, how much of this decision I'm making is emotional or, again, influenced by something else. It's why influencing is a multi-million-dollar business. It's why when we go on to TikTok, we see the same things over and over again, and then we buy the thing, or we listen to the thing, or we start watching the show. I'm guilty of that. I've literally started to watch shows just based off what I've seen on social media. It's how I started watching Vanderpump Rules, actually. I was seeing Scandival everywhere. And it was like a social phenomenon. I was like, how could I not? And guys, true nature me, I like reality TV. So it's like, that's not off-brand for me to watch reality TV either. But guys, do you think I would have cared even the slightest about Scandival if it wasn't just in my face on every social media and even mainstream news outlet? Like, that's crazy. And healing your self-image and returning to true nature you aligns you the most with your higher self path. Why do you want to be in your highest alignment on the higher self path? Because that's the path that is going to leave you feeling the most fulfilled. Let me ask you this. If you were contracted, let's say with intuition, I could see you were contracted to earn $100 million in this lifetime. But with everything you know right now, you can maybe make half of that. And not only just make half of that, but you wouldn't really hit that plateau of half of that, so $50 million until you were 70. But what if I told you with this work, with intuition, with healing your self-image, with returning to true nature you can 100% reach this $100 million, I don't want to even say goal, but $100 million financial abundance amount that is so rightfully deserving and yours, and that you can earn that by the time you're 40 instead of 70, again, just by doing this work. What are you going to do? Are you going to settle for the $50 million when you're 70 years old? Or are you like, no, sign me up. I want the $100 million ASAP, AKA 40 years old. How do I go about doing that? And guys, with this work is how you go about doing it. That's how you speed up timelines. Life will inevitably teach you things, but there is always an opportunity to miss timelines as well. So that's why it's imperative now more than ever to align with your higher self path and return to your true nature essence, especially with the shitstorm going on in the world right now. And the shitstorm going on in the world right now, meaning war and politicians trying to divide us. MK Ultraing, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, it's basically a psyop. It's what big, powerful news stations and Hollywood and even social media to a certain extent, it's a way to get you to do what these big organizations want you to do. And guys, none of that is that scary. The world wants you to think it's scary. The things going on, it actually isn't. And if you have a high self-image, you know that and you're chilling and you're just like, I'm good. I'm fucking good. Stop letting external things dictate you. Grab the reins of your own life and start controlling your reality, because that's the truth. You control your reality. No one else is causing you to have this triggered outburst yelling at people. Only you are controlling that. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming other things and start looking inward. All that to lead up to what is self-image. Guys, I love this topic because before getting into this work, my self-image, I would have thought it would have been so high. It wasn't. It was less than 10%. I don't even want to give away my actual percentage because it's kind of embarrassing, but it was less than 10%. Self-image is how you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you. And guys, you have multiple areas of life that your self-image is affected in, or that you could have different percentages for. What do I mean by that? Meaning you can have a high self-image in your career knowing I'm the boss, I'm confident, X, Y, Z. But in the physical area of life, you can have a very, very low self-image. And that's what is getting broadcasted in your energetic field. Guys, side note, I'm also drinking water out of my cute little baseball anthro cup that my sister got me for my birthday. I say that because I'm taking a little water break. Where did I leave off? Okay. You can have a high self-image and a high perception of what you bring to the table, for instance, in career. But physically, you can look down on yourself. You could talk shit on yourself, things like that. And at all moments, we broadcast all of our thoughts, actions, and beliefs that we hold to be true via our electromagnetic field. What you will also hear in the spiritual world, people call the creator field. Guys, science says everything is energy, including your thoughts, actions, and beliefs. It's why when you walk into a room or a restaurant, why you know, oh, the vibe in this restaurant is a 10 out of 10. Oh, the vibe from my waiter, though, is not a 10 out of 10. You get what I'm saying? Everything has an energy, and at all moments, we are picking up on that energy. That's essentially what intuition is, reading energy. And we all have intuitive gifts, so at all moments, we are picking up the vibe. So let's say you have a really, really high self-image and perception of yourself and how you think and how you feel other people perceive you in career. Let's say you are the boss, you are the man, but physically, you're like, I feel like garbage about my physical body, and you talk shit on it. Again, like you're really, really not happy and not seeing yourself for who you truly are for your physical form. What does it look like to truly see yourself for who you are in your physical form? If I had to simplify it, unconditionally loving your body no matter what. Your body does so much for you. Your body lets you wake up in the morning, lets you see, hear, taste, walk, move, breathe. Your body allows you to live. And if you're talking shit on it, you're not really perceiving all of the goodness of what your physical form is and who you truly are, right? Who you truly are has many components, not just career. It has physical form. We have many different areas of our life. But in this example, you have a really, really low physical self-image. You're not seeing yourself for who you truly are. How you perceive other people to perceive you is very low. And that is what's getting broadcasted in your energetic field for all matter, for the universe to reflect back to you. Everything is a mirror of us. Everything is a mirror of what we're, again, holding to be true in the moment. So let me give you an example why you want to raise your self-image levels in the physical area of life in this example. Because the universe, people, situations, circumstances don't care and don't specify how to treat you in the physical area of life only. They just take what they see. They're going to treat you based off whatever vibe they are picking up on in that moment. So let's say you're posting something on social media, a vacation post, stories, things like that. And you're putting yourself out there. Maybe you're posting a bikini pic for the first time, your vacation, whatever. You're being really vulnerable or just posting something new. You're showing your physical form in a new light. And let's also say, for the purpose of the story, the physical area of life, this physical self-image level that you are deficient in, your higher self is dying for you to finally shift. Because if you don't shift this, you don't up level. That's how it works. You cannot take old limiting beliefs with you into your next up level to attract your manifestations. Okay, so let's say physical self-image is low. You're posting on social media in your hot little bikini for the first time, or your Speedo or your trunks or whatever it is. You're posting for the first time a new type of picture of yourself because it was an inherent pull for you to go ahead and do so. And consciously you're like, oh, I look good. Wow, the setting is beautiful. I can't wait to post this. So what happens is, because you don't inherently, and you're not rooted to feeling hot, for lack of better words, for simplicity. Let's say you don't feel hot. Maybe that's your self-image wound. I don't feel physically hot, but consciously I'm like, no, I look good. I love the way my hair looks, my tan looks, all the things. Consciously you're thinking that. Subconsciously you're thinking, fuck no, I don't. Look at this pudgy stomach. Look at my hips. Look at my butt. Look at the cellulite, all the things. Because that's living in your subconscious still. Even though consciously you're thinking, no, I look good. This is the vibe. I look really fucking good. The stronger broadcast living in your subconscious that has been rooted there for, let's say, 10, 13 years, that you're not even fully aware of, or that you think you're healing and shifting, but it's still living in there. That's what's being broadcasted out. I'm not hot. I'm not hot enough. So you're going to attract situations, people, and circumstances to amplify that feeling. Maybe you get 0 likes. Maybe someone questions your bikini choice. Maybe someone questions your cellulite. I don't know. Imagine whatever your deepest insecurity is. I'm guaranteeing that situation or person, comment, lack of comment, that is what's going to be amplified to throw back in your face, hey, there is something deep that's looking to be shifted to return to true nature you, but we are going to keep creating these 10 out of 10 triggers, literally. If something wants to be shifted in your life, if your higher self, if the universe wants you to shift something in your life, because if you don't, you can miss out on a timeline to financial abundance, a timeline to meet your romantic partner, things like that. It is going to be thrown in your face at a 10 out of 10 level so that you get so sick of it, so that you finally do something about it. So let's say the biggest trigger of yours is someone commenting on your butt, on your cellulite, I don't know, whatever it is. And being like, oh, did you really have to wear the thong bikini? Like, hello? Yes, I did. That's what you're thinking consciously. Subconsciously, you're thinking, oh no. And that's what friends, family, whoever you pay close attention to will reflect and throw back into your face. And guys, I say that with so much love because I was looking at my cellulite on my thighs the other day and I was like, no, I love you. It's a hard, I don't want to say it's a deep emotional wound because from very young ages, we are taught what pretty is in society. And sorry if you're hearing, God, the landscapers or whatever going on right now. Of course, they come on Mondays. Of course, it's Thursday and they're coming right now. But I say this with love because I actually did buy this cheeky bikini recently, and I had to give love to my cellulite because all parts of you are beautiful. We're taught for no reason that cellulite isn't beautiful. Yes, there's an energetic root cause as to why you get cellulite. Fun fact, there's energetic root causes to any of your physical ailments. And not like cellulite is a physical ailment, but to any physical things going on that you find less than desirable, there's an energetic root cause as to why it's happening. Like wrinkles are one, but for the purpose of this bikini cellulite story. And consciously, I'm like, no, this looks really good. the bikini, even with the cellulite, but subconsciously I can see, no, I'm not 100% rooted to that. And if you're not, you will create people, situations, and circumstances to blow up this feeling even more into your face until you get so rooted to it that it doesn't even phase you anymore. And guys, that's self-image. I wasn't seeing myself for who I truly am. My physical form looks hot. All of our physical forms look hot. Society tells you otherwise. Literally, life tells you otherwise. And the goal is to return to true nature you and root to this feeling, to this unshakable, unwavering knowing that you are the best of the best no matter what, that you are unique, that you are hot, and not just hot, that you are hot AF, because that is the truth. True nature you loves your physical form right now in this moment so much I can't even articulate it. Your higher self is your true nature self, is your true essence. Your higher self loves you so much right now in this moment. So does Source, whatever higher power you believe in. Source, God, the universe loves you so much as you are in this moment. It is more than enough. And that is what self-image is rooted in. How you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you. Which other people are perceiving you based on how you perceive you. Based on the law of reflections. If you are so rooted to, no, this bikini is lit. This is the best. People will have no other choice but to reflect that feeling back to you. Are we getting this? We live in an inside-out world. We create everything around us. Ego will tell you you don't. Our victimhood mindsets will tell you you don't. I've been there. I still catch myself in the victimhood mindset. And I catch myself, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was still feeling a victim about this. Even in this work, I'm like, oh wow, I still feel a victim about this. We have to shift this. Because guys, trust me, I know it's humbling when you're being triggered or someone is treating you or being harsh towards you and you're like, wow, that's how I'm being towards me. I get that's a really hard pill to swallow. But yes. And why you're so triggered or why you're so emotional about it, like that 10 out of 10 scale I was referencing before, is because that is what is imperative. I hate the word like you need to, so I'm going to use imperative. Why it is imperative for you to shift it so that you can so rightfully attract the things you desire the most. The money, the love, the family, the friends, the whatever you value the most. That's why you need a high self-image in order to begin attracting those things. Because guys, that's the truth. You don't need to have 100% self-image to begin attracting these things. I've said this before, how you feel about yourself is the best currency you can ever give yourself. How you feel about yourself is currency, not even the fucking money. If you feel so good about yourself, that is a power. That is a flex. Do you know how many people out there are just walking around and they might have the money and the things, but they don't feel good about themselves? Don't you want the money and the things and to feel good about yourself? Like, what a power move. You attract what you are an energetic match for. And if you feel so good about yourself, if you tap back into your true nature, playful, happy self, you will begin attracting the things that are meant for you in this lifetime. Because trust me, you do have an abundant lifestyle in this lifetime. You can live the hot girl lifestyle in this lifetime if that's what you so desire to do. Who doesn't want that? A little sippy break. Again, I would show you this protein drink, but because I mix it and I didn't shake it, it just looks a little gross. So I'm not going to, but it's not gross. It tastes good. I just made it look gross. Anyways, I'm like praying this landscaper moves, but we're here. So let me give another example of why it's important to have a high self-image. Again, your self-image is how you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you. And this time, let's use career as a low self-image example. Let's say you have a low self-image of actually seeing yourself for who you truly are in career. What happens is if you are not paying attention to that, you will orchestrate triggers in situations, circumstances, and people in areas of life you do pay attention to that will force you to look inward and figure out what the F is going on. That's a universal law of reflections. Whatever the trigger is popping up in is not where the actual source of the problem, for lack of better words, is at. I don't love calling it a problem, but just for simplicity. Let's say someone in family is triggering you. Your limiting belief isn't in family. Your limiting belief is in another area of life that you are not paying attention to, that your higher self, that the universe wants you to begin paying attention to. So they're throwing it in your face in an area of life you pay very close attention to. Let's say you have a very, very strong high value in the family area of life. And your higher self is like, we need to shift this career limiting belief, this career self-image thing, so that we can move to our next up level. So we can quantum leap, for lack of better words. And let's just say you're not feeling good enough in career. You're not seeing yourself for who you truly are. You're not seeing your uniqueness and what you could truly bring to the table, and not even to the table, to the world. And your higher self is like, we need to shift this ASAP. But you're going about life and you're not even paying attention to this limiting belief in career. And you're just like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. This is a true story. This is literally what happened to me. So to amplify this feeling of not feeling good enough, again, you can feel good enough in other areas of life, but if your higher self wants you to shift something right now, your higher self will orchestrate things that will trigger you to amplify this feeling even more. This is why it's super important to have intuition, the ability to look inward, just in general. We all have intuition, the ability to remove emotional bias, to look inward and see, okay, this is what's really going on. So my limiting belief is in career, and specifically that I don't feel good enough in career. Huge self-image issue. If you want to attract the most clients, money, all the things, you need to feel like you're good enough in career. Your career is a huge part of your soul purpose and what you came back on earth to do. But I'm not paying attention to it. I'm just like going about life thinking, no, it's okay. Like I'm not loving it, but it's okay. And your higher self is like, bitch, that's a lie. It's very low. It's not okay. It's actually terrible. So let me orchestrate things in your life to highly trigger you, to get you to be like, what the F is going on? And that will force you to eventually seek help to figure out what is going on. And this happened. This happened with family, friends, and in my physical area of life. I was creating all of these situations in these areas of life because I paid really close attention to these areas of life at the time to amplify this feeling of not feeling good enough. I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on. I wasn't in this work yet. This was like pre me getting into this work. This was like the true catalyst, one of the true catalysts. So what happened was in the physical area of life, I was really starting not to feel like enough. I was in situations and circumstances where I just didn't feel hot enough. I was like, oh my God, these people are beautiful and I'm not. So I started getting the Botox and the extensions and things like that with friends and family. I don't want to say they were talking down on me, but they were just saying things to me. You know how people can just say the perfect concoction of words to really trigger you? That's what was happening. People were saying this perfect concoction of words to like really hit the spot, really hit the bullseye of this wound of, oh, like, where did that come from? Like, I don't even know where this came from, this feeling. I'm like, what? And guys, that's because this belief was in my subconscious. It really wasn't even a conscious thought until another intuitive pulled it up for me, like, she was like, this is what's in your creator field right now. I'm like, wow, yes. And that's the benefit of, yes, intuition, but beginning to clear the external things you've taken on, clear the ish. I love touching like my chest when I do this. It sounds funny. That actually sounds really weird. But if you're not watching it on video, but like I'm doing like this like clawing motion across my chest and my abdomen. It makes me think of like you're just like getting rid of all of this dark, stagnant, I don't love the word negative, but like negative energy that is no longer serving you. That's probably the better way to say that. You are getting rid of the energy that is no longer serving you. It is the best feeling in the world. I won't say it's easy, but it is the best feeling in the world when you are on the other side of it. What obstacle is easy? Am I right? What obstacle, if you're doing like this little baby ride, is that more thrilling than like the steep roller coaster and then coming out on the other side of it? The steep roller coaster is like, wow, I was brave enough to survive that and go through that. So just keep that in mind. That sometimes when you're going through these really deep triggering shit, it could feel impossible. I guarantee you it is not impossible. You were built for this. Whatever you are going through right now in the second, you were built for this. And that's not cliche. That's not a joke. You were literally created to experience everything you are experiencing, to carry out your soul pool plan, to then help others do the same thing. This can only be gotten from you. And that is why you need to recognize that and have a very, very high self-image. Because if you don't, then other people will not begin to recognize your greatness because you are not recognizing your greatness. You are not seeing yourself for who you truly are. So other people won't recognize you for who you truly are. And I get the self-image and the reflections things can be confusing. Re-listen to this. This is an intuitive stat, but this is even something you can Google. You don't obtain 100% of the information that you listen to within an hour. Actually, intuitively, within an hour, you only retain 20% of that information. I've Googled this before. I think Google will say 50%, but intuitively 20%. You only retain 20% of the information you hear within the first hour. That's why we're all dead by the end of the school day. Like we're retaining nothing. And I like school. Like I was good at school. Like I liked school. So, and I went to grad school. I did all the things, but you're only retaining like so much information within this time period. So re-listen to this, but if I had to recap it, what is self-image? Self-image is how you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you. Yes, consciously you could have a high self-image in some areas of life, and then subconsciously, where 95% of our thoughts, actions, beliefs, our repetitions, patterns, whatever we hold to be true, 95% of that lives in our subconscious and is still being broadcasted in our energetic field for the universe, for matter, for all people, situations, and circumstances to reflect back to us. Life is a mirror. And why this is important and why is imperative now more than ever to begin recognizing this and healing and shifting your self-image is because if you want big things in this lifetime, you better believe you need a high self-image to accomplish those things. Otherwise, you'll get canceled, you'll lose the money, the boy will cheat on you. Otherwise, you will create a shitstorm in your life, or that you'll keep working and grinding and nothing happening as a result. If that is you, that is a self-image problem. And again, I don't love the word problem because there's good and bad in everything. There's great things in your problems. When I had people freaking out on me for no reason, that was the best thing to happen to me because that made me look inward and go out there and figure out what was going on and to seek information to get this high frequency information to eventually, yes, get on this self-image healing journey. That was the best moment in my life. I can't imagine if that didn't happen to me. I don't even know where I'd be right now if that didn't happen to me. So the problems are the best thing that happened to you as well. And the last thing I'll say about reflections is the universal law of reflections. We live in an inside-out world, and all of reality is reflecting your internal state. What you hold to be true in this moment, any thoughts, actions, and beliefs that you hold to be true in this moment, the world is reflecting back to you. And if you are getting triggered by something, as the first red flag signal, this is a limiting belief that needs to be shifted. I say needs to be shifted if you want to align on your highest timeline. So if a trigger is popping up in family, the limiting belief and self-image deficit, I'll say, is not in the family area of life. It's in another area of life that you are not paying attention to. Again, let's say family is something you pay very, very close attention to. Let's say it is a high priority of yours. And let's say the physical form is not. The limiting belief that's in the physical area of life, that's in the physical self-image deficit, will be orchestrated by the universe and the higher self to pop up in the family area of life. So you're like, oh, I wasn't paying attention to physical. Thank God my family is reflecting this so that I could go look at the physical. Does that make sense? Essentially, wherever your limiting belief is residing will pop up in another area of life to get your attention so that you then look inward and be like, oh, it's here, and then you shift it. Because if you're not even paying attention to your physical form, why would your physical form keep telling you all these things if you're not even paying attention to it? Which your body is a communicator. So if we even had to flip it, for instance, if you get headaches, the energetic root cause of headaches is putting too much pressure on yourself. So if it's popping up physically, if we're following this universal law of reflections, if this headache, not saying it's necessarily a trigger, maybe it is triggering you. Like I've had headaches, so I've experienced this firsthand. This headache, this pain, this ailment's getting your attention. You're like, why is this here not going away? It's not due to a limiting belief of putting pressure on your physical form. It's due to a limiting belief of putting pressure on yourself in some other area of your life that your higher self wants you to shift, that your higher self wants you to overcome. Your body is actually the best communicator. Side note, any physical thing you have going on, what's cool with intuition is I could scan the light body and I could see light and dark spots. Imagine like an MRI, if it's light, it's healthy tissue. If it's dark, it's not healthy tissue. That's essentially what I can do with intuition. I can scan the body and I can see, oh, hey, your head is dark, your heart's dark. And you can actually prevent physical ailments before they happen. But side note, your physical body is the best communicator at getting in your face and showing you, hey, you have a limiting belief going on somewhere that needs to be shifted in XYZ area of life. Go take care of that. Guys, there's more to come on this topic. Again, re-listen to this. I know it's like, the first time I heard this, I had to like write it out, like connect the dots. That's just because that's how my brain works. I get it's not intuitive, but it is. It might not seem intuitive, but write it out, really digest it. Reach out if you have any questions because your questions will help dictate what I talk about in the next episode or future episodes. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today, and I will see you next week.